have you here and celebrate the work that you guys do with your service learning labs. But we have a very, very special guest, and we're going to try and get the PowerPoint going because I think he may have a video. Do you have a video? Yeah, he has a video that you absolutely have to watch. We are a resource center for students like you, faculty and staff who want to be engaged in our community. So we actually host the Service Learning Expo every semester at the end of each semester to showcase the work that our students like you are doing in their community. So thank you so much for all your time and commitment. And today I want to introduce Fostan Dalla, who is going to talk a lot about himself and how he came to America and everything he's doing, so I don't want to repeat myself, but Fostan actually came to one of my classes and spoke this semester, so some of you may already know him. And for those who don't, he was a student here when I was a student here, back in '98. And we became very close friends. We worked together, we attended classes together, we were in the cafeteria washing dishes together, go work, you know, it was so much fun. We made a lot of friends back then. And then we worked in the information systems and we became really close. And today Fostan is working at the international school, and he also has his own non-for-profit organization he's going to talk to you about. And Saisha is actually one of our students, and some of you already know her because she's in classes with you, who is serving with WASA Alliance, and Fostan is going to go ahead and talk about all that. So thank you for coming and enjoy your time. LB credit slips, please turn them in before you leave the event.
Well, thank you for the wonderful introduction, and it's really a pleasure for me to be here, and I would like to thank the Community Program Center, which invited me to speak. My name is Fostan Dalla, and I'm an alumnus from Uindy, 2002. I earned a Bachelor's of Science in Elementary Education in 2002. I'm currently teaching at the International School of Indiana in 3rd grade on the French track. So it's good really to be back at, on campus after so many years. I still remember the days I used to live in Warren Hall, where I met so many friends from all over the world. And we have remained friends until today. And I recall the years I spent at Cummings Apartments on Matthews Avenue. I think those apartments are gone now, because this campus has been transforming ever since I've been a student in 1998. I still miss the midweek prayers, the Friday soccer games with international students, the flag ceremonies, and many more. Small things that I did on campus when I was a student have left an irreplaceable imprint on me. It's a great thing that I came back to meet with you for the first time. Some of you have seen me around here, and I would like to share with you the story of my journey here on campus, but also in the United States in general. I could not have imagined that 10 years later, as WASA Alliance entered into partnership with the University of Indianapolis, that it would be a dear friend from Cyprus, that the dear friend from Cyprus would be the person who will facilitate the partnership. I'm talking about Mariana, as you know, and she's the current director of the community programs here at university. I also thank those professors and students, faculty and staff who have been caring during the time my wife and I were students here at Uindy. It was a challenging time, but I witnessed a spirit of service within each one of the friends I met on this campus. It is such generous acts I encountered here that enriched my desire to give back. Locally, after playing soccer for so many years when I was a student here with other friends, I have been a volunteer coach at the Tabernacle Presbyterian Church at corner of 34th and Central Avenue for the last 8 years. It has been a great experience coaching children soccer in that neighborhood. Children who would not have had a quality soccer training because they could not afford it. They couldn't also join any soccer clubs. So this is my commitment at the local level. I have a video that shows when I actually graduated in 2002, because my wife and I were recipients of the first Global Award, Global Educator Award in 2002. Now, at the global level, I'm engaged with WASA Alliance for Quality Education, and I've been actively engaged in the educational policy debate in the Democratic Republic of Congo. My recent writing was on January 6, 2012. It was a response to the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo State of the Union address that he made on December 20th, 2011. The response is a critical reading and analysis of the State of the Union with regard to the Kabila's proposal for educational reform during his 2012-2016 presidential term. On March 9th, 2011, I published another article in a national newspaper, Le Groupe L'Avenir, in which I discussed a current issue regarding the separation of church and state in terms of public servant payroll management. The last example of my publications is the interview published online on February 23rd, 2010 at checkfitanews.net in Brussels, Belgium, and republished in the Magazine des Congolais de l'étranger in Belgium. I discussed many points during the interview, among which the importance of doing an effective, lasting educational reform that meets the needs for the 21st century. So as you can see, I've been actively involved in the educational reform in the Democratic Republic of Congo in recent past. I do not just do the talk, I do the work too. I'm here in my capacity as the president and founder of the WASA Alliance for Quality Education. WASA Alliance is a non-profit, non-governmental, non-sectarian organization dedicated to enhancing quality of life for children in countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo by improving the quality of their education. We started working in 2008. In fact, we incorporated in 2008, and we became a 501c3 in 2010. And ever since we started implementing our programs, one of which is the WASA enrollment initiative, which means we pick up the students who have dropped out of the school for financial reasons, and we try to re-enroll them and give them support. Since we started in 2008, we have been able to support 28 students at elementary level for $300 a piece per year, and they have been successful. This July, 5 of them will be graduating. And I want you to realize that in developing countries, to finish to complete an educational cycle, such as elementary, we make a big celebration. As big as you would imagine you would celebrate your own college degree. And the reason is that the rate of return in education in those countries at elementary level is much, much higher than the rate of return for secondary. The jobs that those kids will get with the education that they get, because they know how to read and write and count, will bring more income to those families. Statistically, I'll try to give you an example. The GDP per capita per person in the Congo is $300 a year. The GDP for Haiti, just next door, Haiti that we consider the poorest country in Northern Hemisphere. The GDP of Haiti is $1,200 per year, per person. That is the difference between at least Haiti and the Democratic Republic of Congo. That means that a family, on the average, a woman will get 6-point-something children. That's the average. The United States average is probably 1.7 or 2. And you live with less than $2 a day when the educational cost is $1.7 a day. You have to do $1.7 a day times 6 children is the money you're supposed to pay every day to the school if you want your kids to be educated. So that is the challenge those families are going through. And that is the reason why, knowing where I grew up, knowing the situations those families can be in, that I decided that this was the right thing to do. Because we don't choose when we are born to live poor. We are sometimes affected by the environment, by the economics, and by the lack of opportunities. But if you have the will to lift yourself up, you also have to have the means at one point. But I've seen a lot of kids, and I grew up in the same situation too, where I had the desire to do the best I can, but it just didn't happen. To tell you a short story, I grew up in a mining camp where the activities day in, day out was mining copper, cobalt, and uranium. When I was growing up, the good thing during those days is that the company, the mining company, provided subsidies for education and health. Take an example, like Eli Lilly today would decide to have its own schools and its own hospitals for its employees. So that when you get sick, you don't have to pay anything, you just show up and the doctor will give you the treatment you need. So that was an exception for me as I started. But that's not where everybody is between 0 and 12 years old. So I got really privileged to be born in that environment and to get the basis of my education when I was between 0 and 12 years old. Then things became a little bit complicated when I began my secondary school. But hopefully I completed it. By the way, the rate of the dropout rate in the Congo is 65%. So for 100 students who start elementary, only 35 can complete it. And then half of those access secondary school. And the main reason is that people cannot afford their education. So when I completed college, I worked for a private school, the English-speaking school of Lubumbashi, which was a project that was started by many churches who had their ministers and missionaries in town. They came from the United States, they came from Europe, but they had young families. And there wasn't any school for them either. So the church decided to start that project so that they could provide education for their kids. After spending 9 years over there, one day, former President Lentz of University of Indianapolis came to the Congo in 1995. At that time, the director of the school was Ms. Liz Ryder. She's in Florida now. She was the director and I was a teacher there. That connection is the one that brought me here. I went through all the admissions process. I came here, and the community of the school where I was working decided to do a fundraising. The parents, the students, to help me pay for my trip and anything that I needed at that point. So I came to the United States, and all those gestures, all those generous acts. And as we arrived here, I think you saw Dr. Moore was behind there. We were talking before the presentation. I would like to say that she was one of the people who were very, very supportive, because life was very challenging in the United States. It was very, very challenging. I was a non-traditional student. My wife and I were full-time parents, full-time students. I'll tell you what, I will not do it again. It was very, very painful. But we were successful because of the students like you, because of the staff and the faculty and the spirit of this school. So when I graduated, I said, you know, I have to find a way to also give back to some who really need it. And those are the reasons why we started WAZA. And one of the programs I just explained to you was to support the students. If we could show you the pictures, you would see how we do the fundraising here. We provide backpacks, we provide school supplies to those kids, and they're just really excited. It's something that happened in their lives that they never thought it would have happened. One day I was in one of the neighborhoods in the Congo. I asked a friend of mine, I said, you know, for some reasons I think we need to support students of, from this school. And my friend said, okay, why don't we drive in and see the principal? I said, no problem. So we went to see the principal. And we asked her a question. What do you regret the most in terms of dropout? Then the principal said, it's working, amen. And so the principal said, you know, I see these kind of kids, and she told us the anecdotes about the kids that she regrets should not have, dropped from school. So I was taking notes. The other thing I need to say, it will sound a little bit weird, but it's the truth. The kind of solidarity you find in places like the Congo is linked to the family. It's a family member helping a family member. It is a church member helping another church member. But the kind of philanthropic initiative that I have started here is not really something that people do. They have seen that from many foreigners, and the foreigners are profiled as white people. So it is not usual to find a person from your community to come to you and say, I want to help you, I want to give you money, I want to help you go to school. They don't take that. So one of the barriers that I went through is to make them realize that I was sincere, I was not part of their families, they don't know me, but I run a not-for-profit in the United States, and I want to help them. So we called them, the principal called some of these kids, they came, they didn't come for 2 weeks, and it was summer. And if you know you haven't paid your fees, and the next thing you know, the principal is looking for you during summer, you're not going to show up, because you think you know why they're looking for you. But they never suspected that it was to help them. Anyway, let me go back to some of the pictures. This is one of the pictures of one of the teams that I've been coaching. I coached this team, I think, in 2007. I told you the story about how I volunteer in some of the communities locally here, and I just wanted to show you some of the pictures. So we have fun, like you can see. They're 8 years and 9 years old, and they're excited, and we have a nice turf. A lot of these kids, they would not have had a chance to have quality soccer training, and they don't have the money to go to the clubs. So I provided that niche for them, and they were excited. I told you that I published that article a few while ago, and you could go online, you'll find it at this address. This is another article I published. You can go to online, you'll find it there. And I've just told you who we are. We are a US-based non-profit organization, 501c3, incorporated in Indiana. I was explaining some of our programs. We have 4 programs. One is WASA Initiative for School Enrollment, which is the scholarship program. The other one is the WASA Teacher Training Seminar. I'm going to talk about it later. The third one is the Initiative for Resources in Education. So currently we've kick-started the program last year. The purpose is to send a container with school supplies whenever it is ready. That's another example of what happens when we are there. The WASA Initiative for School Enrollment. This is an example of when we give them the school supplies and the backpacks. This is Professor Martin Hartog from Southern Connecticut University. He came out last summer, to give a workshop to the teachers on the best practices of teaching maths. He's fluent in French. He's lived in Congo for 15 years at least before coming back to the United States. So it was really, really a good connection to have him. This is an example of a picture in my high school where at the end of the seminar we wanted to take a souvenir, and there were 70 teachers in attendance. And this is one of our programs. This is an example of when I am out there exchanging ideas with some teachers. This is another lady. She's here in Carmel. In 2008, she came to a presentation I organized at the International School of Indiana when we started this project. After hearing me, she walked to me and said, you know, I really want to go to the Congo. And at that time, I had not taken anybody in the Congo yet. So I was like, I'm not sure if you really want to go to the Congo. She said, yes, I really want to go to the Congo very badly. I said, no. Have you been there before? She said, no. Have you been to Africa before? She said, no. Well, I don't feel comfortable really because I don't have the expertise. But we kept talking, and she was very persistent. And I realized she really wanted to go. So I said, okay, we organized that trip. I made sure she got her visa. We did all the paperwork. She came, and she saw it for herself. And ever since, she's been going every other year because she realized that she said something that I will not forget. When we came back from the Congo, and I asked her, how was your trip? She said, you guys are stuck in your poverty, just like we are stuck in our wealth. And I said, whatever it means, but it was beautifully said. That's another picture of some of our scholars. This is where we were, in the Democratic Republic of Congo right here. We are surrounded by 9 neighbors. Sudan is here, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, Malawi, Angola, Congo, Central African Republic. And the Congo has been going through a lot of difficult times. In the past 15 years I've been in the United States, and I'll tell you about that. The Congo has known what we call the first African World War from 1998 when I came here to 2001. And the belligerents included those countries listed there. The motivation was political for the war. One was to overthrow the Mobutu's regime. And there was a military campaign organized in 1996 through 1998. And then another campaign was organized to overthrow the person who overthrew Mobutu, which is Kabila. And another campaign started in 1998 to end in 2001 with about 5.4 million people dead. 5.4 million people dead. You may not have heard about that. That's why they call it the first African World War. It's a disaster. It is a story which is very painful to tell people. But the economic motivation of the war was the TNC, the transnational corporations. They wanted to gain access to the natural resources such as the coltan that is used in technology. You remember those days when we were told, when you start your computer, you work, and when you finish working, you need to shut it down. Because if you don't, it's going to heat up, it will freeze. I remember those days. You had to reboot your computer like every 2 hours if you didn't do the right thing. Today, most of our technology is portable and it doesn't freeze. It's 24/7. You don't have those technical problems. And the reason is because the transnational corporations, I wouldn't say the names here, have been able to access those minerals that help them make cutting-edge technology that we enjoy here. But you need to remember that for every technology that they invent here, there is a collateral damage. There is an untold story of a child who didn't go to school but goes to the mines. And I took some of our visitors from the United States to go to see those mines. And they were surprised about what's happening in some parts of the world. And the result is that the social services, such as education, have been disrupted for generations. There has not been any school built. There have been millions of children who have not accessed education at all. So the challenge is not only education, but health and unemployment as well. Access to education, when we talk in terms of access to education, we talk in terms of the infrastructure. Are there enough schools around for kids to go to? Are there enough buses and books and so on? Do the families have the financial power? Are they healthy enough to actually attend school? But when we talk in terms of quality of education, is what happens once we know the child is in the classroom. Then we look at the quality of the teachers, we look at the attendance rate, we look at the standardized tests, results, and all sorts of achievements level. I would say that in the West in general, the question about access to quality to education has been resolved. Most of the debate in the United States is around the quality of education, the quality of the teachers. You know, that's what we talk about. The quality of the program is what we talk about. Now here's a picture of my primary school. This is a school where my mom used to be a teacher there too. But this is a school that was built by the mining company when I was growing up. It doesn't look like, and this is my secondary school as well. I attended a Catholic secondary school, and the Catholic Church has built lots of big high school over there. It has nothing to do with this kind of school. But this is the typical school you'd find in most places in the Congo. So the social problem we're trying to resolve is that children do not have a chance to access quality education in order to improve their lives. There are no structures in existence in terms of equal opportunity. The economic crisis makes it hard for parents to provide support to their children's education. We want to provide assistance because education is a lifelong investment. It's an investment that takes 6 years, 12 years, 18 years before you actually get paid off. On the average, in the United States, from K through college, on the average, a family spends about $250,000 per child. Before your parents really stop paying for your college, they would have paid, since you were born, about $200,000 to $300,000. In the Congo, it takes $10,000. Survival of the children. Well, I hear people here when they try to select what elementary school they want to attend, what secondary school they want to attend. It feels to me like they're shopping around. Well, because there's something to shop about. So, well, you want to go to this school because they have these kind of programs that you like, or perhaps you want to develop your talent in music, therefore you want to go to X, Y, or Z program. But it sounds like education becomes a commodity you can consume. But in other parts of the world, education changes lives. Education is people look at education as a means to better life. And when there is a school in the neighborhood, doesn't matter what kind of teachers they have, they will jump in and they try to get in. Education is the key out of poverty. Knowing that if you can achieve in school, it will give you a better chance to live a better life. So, dealing with quality of education, we look at teacher quality, students enrollment and attendance, like I said, school management and educational resources. Since we started, we have been able to provide teacher training to 500 teachers, and we've been able to have 70 schools attend our programs. Those are the examples in the pictures, and I've spoken about this already. Those are just pictures to illustrate what happens. The container project, I just mentioned it not a while ago. So far we got great support from the school where I teach. The International School of Indiana just donated about 60 laptops. Some children have done a book drive. Others have done a bake sale. Each one of the students came up with an idea in order to help raise the funds for other kids in other countries like the Congo. Today we are really privileged to have a partnership going on with the University of Indianapolis, which has been great in terms of providing us the support that we need. And that's the reason why we have such students as Seisha sitting on my right here. She has been doing our media, running our Facebook page and doing some updates on making the videos so we can share with people who are interested in our programs. We want to see that this initiative this partnership becomes solid enough so that some of you who are international minded, oriented could find a way to join projects like the WAZA Alliance for Quality Education and get an international experience. And so we think that it will be beneficial for all of us. There are many ways you can help. You could, go to small businesses. We have some small businesses that have agreed to give us support. We don't ask you to go out of your way. We ask people to just change a little bit their consuming habits. I know I have to have coffee every day, but if I go to Starbucks without wanting it, I'm supporting Starbucks, right? But if I go to a small business that says, if you come here, you'll have your coffee as usual, but we'll give a dime, that will make a difference in the combo. And so we have some of those. One of which is Tea's Me Cafe, for example. It's like a Starbucks, but they do tea, and they have a variety of teas. That's one of the places we encourage people who really want to be intentional to go there and consume, so we can get a dime to support our program. The second one is 1001 Food and Drink in Broad Ripon. We have a partnership with those ones as well. You could contact small businesses to volunteer for, or you could buy from. You could also go to K-12 schools who are willing to do some backpack drives or coin collections, or your own congregations if you are a church attendee. You could also design your own fundraising model that will help our program. So I tried to peruse very quickly the PowerPoints. I don't know if I can run the videos from here, but if I cannot, no problem. I'm here to take some questions.
Improving their nation's education system.
They've been studying at the University of Indianapolis, where at this hour they are being honored. And News 8's education reporter Leslie Olson joins us live with their remarkable story of determination. Leslie.
Joining Core moments ago, the Intalas were awarded the University of Indianapolis' first Global Educator Awards. And with it came $700. That's a fortune for a family from the third world country. This weekend,
Well, images can speak for themselves. I hope you recognize Dr. Pennell. And that's my wife and our baby. He was actually 2 years old or less. And my wife used to take him to her office. He liked to be carried on the back. I am teaching at the international school, and Channel 8 came just to take some pictures from there. And that's my wife. She was probably 21 years old at that point. This is where I'm saying in 2002 that I would like to do something about education, about giving opportunities to other children. By the way, this is on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, or if you take our handouts in the back there and email me, I'll tell you where to go on Facebook to find it. All right, do you have any questions? I like it when there's no question. No, I like it when there is a question.
How often do you go back to visit the Congo?
Well, I've gone back 4 times since 2008, and I came in 2002, in 1998, sorry. And in 2008, I went back for the first time. It was funny that I met my friends and saw the schools, but the funny part is that they said, "Where are you from?" I said, "From here." "No, but there's something different." I said, "Like what?" "I speak the same language, I eat the same food, I went to the same neighborhood." They said, "Well, there is now something about you that tells me that you don't belong here anymore." So that's when I realized that I've been Americanized at one point. One of which I smiled more than anybody around me. The other thing is that I was, the eye contact is a cultural thing. People don't really do eye contact there. And there were some other body languages that I did that betrayed, where I've been living for the last 10 years. But it was great to be there. It was great to share my experience with people and tell them that I was ready to help if they wanted help. If there aren't any questions, I am very, very happy that you came and attended this lecture, and I hope that you've learned something out of it.
And I thank you very much for coming.